Sermon from Matthew 16, verses 13 through 20. Are you a good secret keeper? Some of us are, and some of us just can't hold a secret. I happen to be a very good secret keeper. If you tell me something in confidence, it will not leak out, even though I'm in sleep trying to keep the secret. For example, Bob told me a few weeks before he had decided to apply for our position as rector that he had made this decision and it had to stay between he and I. So when people kept asking me what was happening with our position, I just simply said that things were progressing and that we would have something soon to talk about. Perfectly vague. How do we feel about secrets? Secrets are good in some cases, and there are substantial reasons that this one had to be kept. There were committees to be notified. There was paperwork that still needed to be done. But when the secret was revealed, it was such wonderful news to be celebrated. And we were so happy to have Bob as our new rector. And there was no harm in the process of keeping that particular secret. Then again, secrets can be deadly, horrific, and extremely harmful in so many ways. Take, for example, the creation of the atomic bomb. This was a high-powered government secret of epic proportions. Wives, families, and even some of the government workers were not aware of what was happening behind those closed doors. Robert Oppenheimer, who discovered the technology of nuclear fusion, was against having this science used for destructive powers, but was very much a part of the process of creating the atomic bomb and kept it a secret. He had always hoped that his technology would be used for productive ways, and later on it was, but just not with his assistance. In today's reading, Jesus is testing his disciples. He goes to a part of this country that is primarily inhabited by Gentiles and puts the question to the disciples, who do the people say I am? He takes this time to fully engage his disciples in describing who he is. In my mind, it would seem that all this time that Jesus has been traveling with the disciples and performing miracles and preaching the word of God, that the disciples would have an instant answer. There are no secrets here, and they should be fully aware of who Jesus is. They answer Jesus. Some say you are John the Baptist, resurrected, of course, as John had been murdered, but was such an influential person that people always thought he would be resurrected. Some say you are the prophet Elijah, who also worked miracles and was believed to be one who would be resurrected as well. Some say you are the prophet Jeremiah, who had opposed the religious leaders in Jerusalem, which Jesus also opposed. Jesus prods farther to know who the disciples as a collective group they think he is. The spokesperson, Peter, answers for the first time, you are the Christ, meaning the anointed one. Jesus is pleased with this answer. He acknowledges that this has been revealed to Peter not by earthly flesh and blood, but by God in heaven. This is divine. This is a result Jesus had hoped for and is prophesying over the many years with his disciples. I can imagine that Jesus had the same feeling that we have with our children. When we preach for years and years about our parental ways of living as loving human beings, one day your child says something profound to you that you know they have heard you. We have God's guidance in our teaching, and wow, what a moment of grace when your child confirms your teachings. how Jesus must have felt this grace and peace, and felt at peace as he was readying for his journey to Jerusalem. Jesus then tells the disciples that his church will be built and nothing will stand in the way of its continuance. He will give them the keys to the kingdom. Imagine the Disney keys to the kingdom. The disciples have the remarkable role of sharing this knowledge and blessing. It is under their purview to gather and grow followers of Jesus and his word. And then Jesus says, and whatever you bind on earth will have been bound in heaven, and whatever you release on earth will have been released in heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you release on earth will be released in heaven. Then, after this incredulous dialogue in Revelation, he tells the disciples to keep this a secret. Tell no one. This seems completely contrary to the role Jesus has taken on through his journeys. The disciples must be scratching their heads, wondering how this fits in with their beliefs. Jesus has confirmed that he is the Son of God. Shouldn't everyone be told? Why not tell the world? Why keep this information to oneself? Why the secret? When I was an 8-year-old girl, I wanted nothing more than to have a birthday party. My brother had had birthday parties, my friends had had birthday parties, but I had never had a birthday party with my friends of my own. And I asked my parents, I'm sure I begged my parents, and they said no. And I was so sad and so sullen. And the day came, and it was just like any other day. And later on, there would be cake and ice cream, but it just didn't, it fell flat. And at some point in the day, I'm sure it was orchestrated by my parents, they sent me up to my room for something. And of course, what pops out but all of my best friends in my bedroom? And I was so overjoyed. It was, to this day, one of my best birthday memories ever. And it was the reveal, the big reveal, right? There was a tight secret that my parents kept, and the secret revealed was absolutely joyous. As the disciples hold on to Jesus' secret, and they await the purpose of the secret keeping, will they feel a similar joy? As disciples of Jesus, do we keep this secret too, or do we enjoy the great reveal? The word of the Lord.